Hey everyone, this is Shani from Baker Creek. Today we're at the beautiful Spring Planting Festival in Mansfield, Missouri, here in the heart of the Missouri Ozarks. And I'm here with David Bolin and Gibran Jones, and they are coming down from St. Louis. They're farmers, they're working on a food hub, and they're gonna tell us all about what they're up to up in St. Louis. So you guys, let us know what you're up to. What are you doing?
Oh, it's where to start. As she said, we grow a lot of vegetables, and we're expanding our fruit and herbs as well. We work with farmers markets, chefs, and we're working on a grocery store as well. That's Gibran's project here. And so we grow a lot of stuff that we get through Baker Creek and various other seed companies and seed collectors from around the world, just to try and provide great variation of produce to the marketplace.
Yeah, part of our focus is trying to look at the food system as a system itself completely. The production of the food on the agricultural level, so farming, setting up a processing kitchen for that food to then go to the kitchen for value-added products, and then taking those value-added products and providing a cooperative space where people in the community can come and shop, and the prices can be kept very low. So we wanted to try to create a whole vertically integrated system so that we can control the price point from the seed all the way to the person that's consuming the food.
Amazing. So can you tell me a little bit about the farming process and what's up with that? And then we'll move on to the food hub.
Okay, so the farming process, I guess. We grow a lot, mainly heirloom varieties, not too many hybrids, a lot of open pollinated stuff, and we also do some seed selections and breeding on the farm. Almost everything is planted by hand. I'd say the only thing that is not planted by hand is corn. You can't grow a lot of corn by hand planting it, or at least spacing it gets very difficult with large crops.
We do have that nice Jang seed.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'd still qualify that as hand planting.
That's still hand planting.
If a seeder qualifies as hand planting.
Yeah, it counts.
But yeah, this year we've been blessed to collaborate a lot closer with the folks here at Baker Creek Seeds and to trial some of their new Asian varieties that have yet to hit the catalog, and to try and provide some information for the catalog and for the folks that are looking to grow these types in the future, and to see if they're viable for folks to grow in this area, and where they are best suited to be grown and what times of the year they're best suited to be grown.
That's invaluable knowledge for us. So we're so grateful that you guys are doing that work with us, because that can be a key piece, is finding new varieties for people to grow. It's sometimes the best way to get around a pest issue or a weather issue, or finding that a crop is incompatible with your area, is just to switch it up and tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe traditional grocery store broccoli is not for you in your garden, but maybe a Chinese broccoli is exactly what it's calling for. So thank you guys for using your experimental nature and your scientific approach to figuring out what can grow where and how, so we can share that with our customers. That's huge.
Of course, we love it. I guess you can tell them a little bit.
So the food hub is actually set up to be a resource for local farmers. A lot of times farmers will have their markets that they sell to, but then they have a lot of crops left over, sometimes in the field. And to stop or to mitigate or minimize the food waste, what we try to do is take what's out in the field and upcycle it.
So can you tell us a little bit about some of the ways that you've managed to repurpose or circumnavigate that waste and turn it into something useful and good?
Yeah, so give you an example. Tomatoes, we'll take some of the tomatoes we'll harvest and we'll sell to our different vendors, but then there'll be a lot of tomatoes that are still out in the field, and to prevent those tomatoes from going bad on the vine, what we'll do is harvest those and process them and make marinara, which will then go to the public schools. In addition to that, another example would be with our pumpkin seed oil. The pumpkins that we grow, we really want to only want to harvest the seeds for the oil, but then the meat, what we want to do is take that and process that and make it into soups and things like that. That can then be delivered to local food banks and get out to the people that need it.
Right, that's a great one if you guys are looking for a dual purpose crop, is those naked seeded pumpkins. You're going to get a flesh, like a pumpkin flesh, and you're also going to get the seeds that are easier to process because they don't have the hull.
They don't have the hull, correct.
So I love seeing that you're reducing the waste. And can you tell us a little bit about how you're getting into the school system and you're getting to bring this like nutritious, incredible produce to who needs it most? Kids in school?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So we're doing all of the processing inside of our commercial kitchen. It's a shared use processing kitchen. It's really there for the community because we want people in the community to come in and make products that can then be developed and sold to the schools as well as to local grocery stores. And so navigating that whole school system was a little bit difficult because you have the food service provider, which normally has these large contracts, and those large contracts keep a lot of the smaller farmers out. But what's been done in St. Louis is that they've actually put a requirement in that says that they have to purchase a certain amount from local producers. So that helps the local economy. We'd like to see that number get a little bit higher, a lot higher, but it's a good start.
Yeah, so good job to those local, as you were saying, those local parents and community members who affected that change and said we need to see more local food in our school food system.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's where it begins. So you guys can look into that and try to make that change on your level. That's something that you guys can actually have the power to change, which I love to see.
Yes.
So do you guys want to talk a little bit about some of your favorite crops?
Some of my favorite crops? I can easily start with this time of the year. So a lot of my favorite crops for springtime would be Celtus is one of my favorites because it's another dual purpose crop. You get this extremely nutty, crisp, romaine type leaf. Some of the varieties have a slightly different leaf that's not really the same as romaine. Some of them have a pointed leaf. We have another variety that kind of has like a butter leaf, so a thick kind of crinkled leaf. But they also produce that really crisp, delicious and nutty stem. And so, you peel the stem, and I like to eat it fresh. It's often pickled and, fermented, and they do a lot of different things with it. So Celtus and the many varieties of Celtus, we're really getting into those over the last couple years. Sprouting cauliflower is another one, which is like a looser variety of cauliflower. Not tight curds, loose curds that when cut, they kind of are spears or kind of resemble broccolini. That's another favorite. It's a more heat tolerant cauliflower, which is critical for Missouri. People want to be able to. That's another thing about Celtus. It's also more heat tolerant as the crop is not produced until it bolts. And so both of those I enjoy a lot because it gives you these things that we enjoy and often get tired of in the springtime, but when that heat sets in, people still want cauliflower, people still want lettuce and certain things like that. And same with the Asian spinach hybrids. Those are the ones where we will grow some hybrids because it allows you to have some spinach in midsummer. And so those are some of mine, which obviously are all Asian vegetables, which we're really into at this time.
I do have a preference for Asian vegetables as well, at least right now, going through a phase.
Yeah, and in Missouri, it's nice to notice and explore the Asian vegetables because a lot of them are much more adaptable than some of the things that we're used to growing here in the States. They can take the two extremes that we deal with, the extreme winters and the extreme summers that we have.
And one thing I've noticed that is very smart that you've been doing is that you have been marketing some of your more like unusual crops to high-end restaurants as well.
Oh yeah.
Because they seem to be very receptive to bringing the more experimental things to the plate. And usually that's kind of where it starts. That's where people first got into eating beets again.
Yeah.
And now you can find a beet salad on a lot of menus in a lot of places. So I love that you're starting there because that can be a good door.
Yeah, and it influences other people. It also gives people an idea of what to do with things because people aren't going to buy beets unless they know what they're going to do with it. And until they've tasted something that they like with beets, it's hard for them to kind of have an idea of what they're going to do with it when they get home. So,
I've
yeah.
tricked a lot of people by making a beet lime sorbet.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
And those
that's
are
a
people
good
that
trick. I
do
like
not
that.
like beets, and they loved it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. I
So-
like that. That's sneaky.
Some of your favorite?
Some of my favorites would really, that's easy, tomatoes.
All right.
Tomatoes,
Simple,
yeah.
straightforward.
Simple,
What
straightforward.
variety?
The Brandywine, but I like, Brandywine is probably one of my
It's a
favorites.
banger.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I like the Paul Robeson.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Paul Robeson is a really good one. But then I'd also say I really like the variety of the pumpkins that we're doing, the oil pumpkins. So the Scheherazade, the Khaki, and the
Lady
Godiva. Yeah, those are really good ones. So I'm looking forward to those crops this year.
Yeah.
And the melons.
oh,
The melons,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so I do love melons. If we're gonna talk about melons, I really have been enjoying Japanese melons because they have this firmness that a lot of
Yeah.
our musk melons don't have. So they have an extremely high sugar content, and they also have this crispness like an Asian pear does. And so I've been enjoying those a lot lately. Of course, the French melons are incomparable. Their fragrances are overwhelming. And so the French melons, a lot of the French melons, one that I grew last year was called a Zata melon. I believe that's an Italian melon, but they also call it Brutto Mabuno, which means ugly but good. And it's a very ugly melon. It looks like a gourd, but it's very delicious. Has kind of a papaya, a very tropical flavor, very strong perfume. And then watermelons. I do love the old school Jubilee watermelon. Can't get enough of that. I eat watermelons until I'm sick.
Yeah, it's important. It's hydrating in the summer. You're out
Yes.
there working. It's getting hot.
Oh,
Cool
yeah.
off with watermelons, cucumbers, those Asian melons. They're
yes,
essential. Yeah, I think that's also integrating those Asian varieties is really great for season extension as well.
Yes.
Because you've got your greenhouse, you've got short day length, you've got mild temperatures in the greenhouse, and that really does nicely mimic, like, say, Japan. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.